students. I still remain your teacher, Kate Ikudrim, taking you civic education. Today we are going to be talking about right attitude. But before then, let's go through what we did last time. Remember, we talked about courtesan, how to prevent being lured into joining a cult group. And I gave an assignment. I hope you've been able to come up with some ways with which you can avoid being persuaded to join a cult group. One of those ways is being to have a right attitude. If you have a right attitude, no one will cajole you or persuade you to join a wrong group that you did not want to join. Now, when we're talking about right attitude, we're going to be looking at the meaning of right attitude, attributes of right attitude, the reward or the importance of having a right attitude, and then lastly, the consequences of not having a right attitude towards your study or towards the work you do. So now let's dig straight into it. When we talk of right attitude, what do we mean? So it simply means the positive ways of doing things, the right ways of doing things. It could be your study, it could be at the place of your work, where you're working. So when we talk of right attitude, it's just the proper way or the positive ways of doing things in order to discharge your duties, and then at the end of the day, you get the proper reward, or you achieve the goal you want to achieve. Let's take, for example, as a student, you go to school. What is your aim of going to school? To learn, so that at the end of the day, you graduate, and then you further your education, become a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher, just like myself. For you to achieve this, you must have a right attitude towards your studies. You must read your books, you must do your homeworks, you must not while away your time playing or being pressurized by other people to do what they want. You must stand on your ground. I want to be a teacher. I must study hard. I must read my book. I want to be a doctor. I must study hard. These are my timetable, and I must follow them squarely in order to achieve the success at the end of the day. So that is what right attitude simply means. Now let's go straight to attributes of right attitude. When we talk of attribute, that is those things, those characters an individual or a student is supposed to have, so that he or she will bring out this right attitude in him or her. The first one we have here is honesty. As a student or as a worker who wants to discharge his or her duty properly, or who wants to study hard to achieve success at the end of the day, which your exam, of course, you must be honest. When we say honesty, it simply means being truthful to yourself. When you're given an assignment to do you sit down to do it, or do you give it to somebody else to do for you? When you're given an assignment to do you just leave it and then you call your parents? I can't find my textbook. I don't know how to go about it. If you're honest with your study, of course, you find out that at the end of the day, you will achieve success. That's one attribute of having a right attitude. The second one is discipline. For you to have a right attitude, you must be disciplined. Discipline in what sense? Discipline in all you do. You must have a timetable and follow them squarely. This is the time for my study. This is the time for me to do my chores. This is the time for me to run errands. These are times for me to do one or two things for my parents. And then you follow them the way they are. You don't leave what you're supposed to do, go to play, and then at the end of the day, you want to achieve success. Of course, it doesn't work that way. For you to have a right attitude, and for you to succeed at the end of your exam, to get your reward of being a doctor or a teacher, you must be disciplined in all you do. You must carry your studies first. And then the next one is integrity. You must have integrity as a student. When we talk of integrity, it simply means yes is yes and my no is my no. When it is time for you to study and your friends come along, Chike, Ndidi, let's go outside to play football, or let's go and watch this home video that is up and running now. Everybody is talking about it. And you know you have your assignment, you know you have your study to pick up with. Do you leave what you're supposed to do, follow your friends to play? No. If you're a person of integrity, you of course confront them and say, I have something to do. When I'm through with it, I will meet you. That is if it is important for you to go along with them. So you must be a person of integrity to have this right attitude. If you have a right attitude, you'll be a person of integrity. You stand to your ground. What is right, and what is wrong is wrong. Also, for you to have a right attitude, you must be a person that is committed to what he or she is doing. Commitment in what way? In your studies, of course, as a student. When you're studying, you have your mathematics lesson. Do you leave your mathematics lesson and do some other thing? No. I'm committed to this math. It's giving me a little headache. I must find a way to solve it and get the answers right. You're committed to it. And you find a way of solving that sum and getting it right. Even when you don't get it right, at least you have made an effort and you call for help. That is what commitment means. Committed in achieving a goal. So you must be committed to have a right attitude. Also, we talk about punctuality. Most of us in our schools, we come late to school. And you say you want to be a doctor at the end of the day. You want to be a lawyer. You want to be a teacher. And you know that most times your teachers come before you. They have to wait several minutes before you come to your classes or before you come to school. So for you to be a successful teacher, for you to be a successful doctor, you must be punctual in all you're doing. They say charity begins at home. You must start being punctual in your school. In everything you do, you have a timetable for what you want to do, the time for you to help your mommy at home in the kitchen, the time for you to run errands, the time for you to fetch your water, and the time for you to put in hours into your school work. So you don't leave one and the other one suffers. So you must have to follow your timetable. In that doing, you're being punctual in all you are doing. And then the last one we are going to talk about today is being transparent. Transparency. When we talk of transparency, what does it mean? Being open-minded. Did you do it? Yes. Am I the one? No. You are transparent in all you're doing. You cannot solve the math. Don't be shy. Don't cover up for what you cannot do. That English is giving me problem. Oh, part of speech, I'm having problem in it. Of course, don't die in shame. Don't just cover up. Open up. Find somebody that can help you out. Be open. Please, help me out with this exercise. I'm finding it a little difficult in solving. So that's simply what transparency means. Being open-minded. Open to what you know that is right. If it is wrong, you say it the way it is. You're transparent, you're open. So that is the attributes of having a right attitude. The next thing we are going to be looking at is the importance of having a right attitude. The importance of having a right attitude. When we talk about having a right attitude towards your work or towards your study, it simply means that at the end of the day, when you put the right attitude to your study, you put the right behavior, the positive things you're supposed to do, you put it into your study, at the end of the day, you come out with what? Efficiency. You come out with good results. You come out with great results. Your parents will be proud of you. Your teachers will be proud that they did not waste their time in teaching you in the class. So that is the importance of having the right attitude. When you have a right attitude, you put it in place. At the end of the day, you find out that you achieve what you want to achieve. Also, we have progress as an attribute or importance of right attitude. When you put in the right attitude towards your study, you find out that you continue to progress from one class to the other. GS1 to GS2, then after your GS, you go to your SS, then after your SS, you find yourself moving forward to the university. What are you doing? You're progressing towards achieving that your success, towards being a doctor, towards being a teacher. So you find yourself that you're progressing, you're doing those things I can't do before, I am gradually doing them. You're progressing. That is when you put the right attitude. That is the importance of right attitude to work. Also, one good thing about it is you have recognition. You'll be recognized as somebody who is doing really great. You're doing well, and you'll be rewarded. You find out that in our schools, some students were called out some time ago because they took the first, the second, and the third position. The whole school applauded them because they did what? They did very well. They had the right attitude towards their study, and the school recognized them, gave them books as reward. So you'll be recognized if you have the right attitude towards your study, towards your work. You find out that you'll be given more things to do, and you'll be applauded for achieving a success. Also, and another importance of having a right attitude is increase in productivity, especially in a place of work. When you're working and you find out that your employers find out that you have the right attitude towards your work, you'll be more productive. They will find out that, yes, this teacher is really doing well. Oh, great, our school is increasing numerically. We are having more students because the teachers are doing well. Our math teacher is putting his best, our English teacher is putting his best, our civic teacher is putting her best. And you find out because the teachers are putting their best, oh, parents will want to reckon with such school. You find out that most students will be coming into the school. And what is that to the school? There is increase in productivity. More students are coming to the school because the school has good teachers. So also it can be applied to your studies. If you study very well, you find out that you will do well. That is increase in productivity. Let's say, take for example, before now you're taking the 7th or the 8th position in class. But because you told yourself, I must have the right attitude towards my work, you cut off your television time, no more movie, no more cartoons, no more playing football outside. You put in those times into your studies. You find out that you start doing very well in your studies. If it is maths that is giving you problem, you find out that you're improving little by little. And by that doing, you're increasing your productivity. You'll be doing well in other subjects too, because most of the subjects, they are interrelated. That is how right attitude helps increase productivity. Now let's go to the last one, which talks about improve in national image. This has to do with the society where you live. You know, we don't live in isolation. The school is part of your society. It talks about you, and the extent of the school, what you do in the school, also tells about what you will do outside. The good image you live in the school will also tell to the society. So improve in national image. If you're a good student that puts in your effort, wow, everybody's seeing you. Oh, this boy, you can't see him hanging around playing outside. You can't see him. No, he can't be the one. If any wrong thing or something bad is happening outside, no, Kelechi can't be the person, because Kelechi is always indoors working on his maths, or Kelechi is always indoors busy with his English work. You find out that if you're doing this, there is an improve in the national image. People will not go into criminality. People will not go into cultism. You will not find people stealing people's things. Of course, when negative things are happening around, of course, you will not be called as part of those. Why? Because because you have the right attitude towards your study. And if you have everybody, just take for example, when you put all your effort in your studies, who will go outside to steal? Who will go outside to commit one crime or the other? Of course, with that doing, you find out that our national image will improve. You hear people talking about Nigeria, that's, oh, this country, very good citizens. You can't find them stealing, you can't find them going into fraud or things like that, because we have the right attitude. If you have the right attitude, the image of your school is improved, the image of the society is improved, and along the line too, the image of the nation is improved. So that is that about the importance of having the right attitude towards your studies, towards your work. I hope that is understood. Now let's go to the consequences of not having a right attitude. What are the consequences? Now, if I don't have the right attitude, when I'm supposed to read, I am outside playing. When I'm supposed to write, I am outside playing. When I'm supposed to help my parents at home, you find out that I'm watching one movie or the other. What is the latest movie now? You tell me. You're at home. Is it the Z World? Is it the Telemundus? You know them all. But I tell you, there should be time for everything. I'm not telling you not to watch, but there should be time. You should be what? Discipline in whatever you are doing. So let's go to the consequences of not having the right attitude towards your work. If you don't have the right attitude towards whatever you are doing, you're bound to be indisciplined. You find out that you're lawless. You do whatever you want. And when you do whatever you want, you find yourself entering what? Into trouble. Even when you're not the one doing it, people will always point a finger at you. You find out that whatever happens in the compound, wherever you live, if you're the one known to be outside every other time when everybody is indoors, they'll say, it's Ada. Ada must be the one. I saw her walking past that door. So if you're indisciplined, you find out that you'll be called for any wrongdoing. So we must be disciplined. So indiscipline is the consequences of not having the right attitude. Lawlessness. You do whatever you want to do and thinking that you will go scot-free with it. Now the next consequences of not having the right attitude towards your studies or towards your work is decline in productivity. Decline in productivity. You find out that when you're not disciplined, when you don't have the right attitude towards whatever you're doing, what happens? Your studies will go down, your grades will go down, your marks will go down. You're a person that has been taking the first position in your class, the second position in your class, and all of a sudden, whenever the class teacher is in the class teaching, you're outside. You take permission. You're in the toilet. Whenever the notes are given for you to write, you will not write. The assignments are given, you will not do it. Then what is happening to your studies? It is going down. You find out from the first position, you're not taking what? The last position. Now, the next point is lack of motivation. If you don't have the right attitude towards your studies, towards your work, you find out that you will not be motivated to do what you want to do. When we talk of lack of motivation, the time for you to study, you find out that you're sleeping. The time for you to read your book, you're sleeping. The time for you to work, you'll be slacking behind. So when you are not motivated, of course you will not be ready to do the right thing at the right time. So having the right attitude to work will improve your motivation. So I'm indulging you all to be motivated in everything that you are doing towards your study. Now let's talk about national disaster as a consequence of not having the right attitude towards your study. Remember, we talk about improving national image if you are good at what you're doing. Like our teachers will say, when they are good at what they do, you find out that the population in our school will be increasing. So also, if you don't have the right attitude towards your work or towards your study, you find out that the nation will be what? That there will be disaster in the nation, just like we have now. You want to ask, are we the cause? Of course, everybody is to be blamed. The government, you and I. We probably have not been doing what we are supposed to do right. So that is why we have, at the end of the day, you find out that students that are supposed to study hard, they will come out worse than their school. At the end of the day, you find them pushing barrow. And by the time you're pushing barrow, you're not getting enough money to take care of yourself. What happens? You look for ways to get this money. And when you're looking for ways to get that money, what are you doing? you're becoming a robber, an armed robber, you're a criminal, and when you're caught, of course, it does not tell good about our nation. People will be hearing about us out there. Oh, the citizens of these countries, what they are good at is stealing. They are all criminals. If you go out there to do business, of course, people will not want to reckon with you. They will not want to do business with you because they feel that your image, or rather they know that the image of the nation has been dented. We don't have good image for ourselves because we did not do the right thing at the right time. That is why, as students, we must have the right attitudes towards our studies, towards our work. Do what you're supposed to do at the right time. Be disciplined, be committed, be punctual, and then you find out that our nation will be all the better for it. By the time we go out there, we don't need to tell people that we are good. Rather, people will be telling us, oh, is that a student of Kings? Is that a student of Queens? Oh, they are good, they are great, they are known for this, they are too good in this. You can't find them loitering around, you can't find them playing around. They are always disciplined. They are always taken to their studies. So, boys and girls, students at home, I want us to inculcate the right attitude towards all we do. Not just your studies, but in all we do. The next topic we'll be talking about is negative behavior. Of course, you know, if you have a right attitude, you also have the bad part of it. So we are going to be talking about negative behavior in our next lesson. But for today, I'm leaving you with going to treat yourself with importance of having the right attitude. I want us to have it at the back of our mind that we need to be right in all that we do, having the right attitude. Thank you. For your assignment, I want you to find out more importance of right attitude. At least I want you to give me 6 importance of having a right attitude towards your studies, towards your work. I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.